This is Ellie. I thank you again for your support, and I'm going to talk today about a prophecy from Eileen George. She's dead now, God rest her soul. She suffered quite a bit, and she was a visionary, and she said that World War III would be started by a Moslem connected to the Russians, and that this Moslem with Russia, and I include Iran in this too, will be the cause for World War III. So I believe that she's correct in this. And at the same time World War III is going on, she said San Francisco will be swallowed up. So there's a lot of prayer needed. She even said back then that it was in the prophecy that it was in our hands to stop this or mitigate this war and the catastrophes that would occur with this war. But I wanted to point out something before we discuss more about that prophecy from Eileen George. I found this in the place where I pray at church, and it was how to interpret the Bible, and this concerns the ascension of Jesus. Somebody left this in my church, and it says at the end of this interpretation, or how to interpret the Bible, concerning the ascension, it says, what modern believers must do is accept that Luke, the one that wrote the gospel, one of the gospel writers, was a man of his age, and that the views of his age should not be imposed on us. We can accept Luke's point that Jesus returned to his Father in heaven. We cannot accept his supposition that heaven is a place above the clouds. Now, I was so shocked when I read that, because heaven, obviously Jesus ascended into heaven and he went up into the clouds. That's what the gospel tells us. So yes, heaven is a place that is above the clouds, because Jesus showed us where heaven was. He was going to his Father. And I just couldn't believe this paper that said that we cannot accept his supposition that heaven is a place above the clouds. Recall Fatima, Our Lady of Fatima, showed the three children, Francisco, Lucia, and Jacinta, she showed them hell. It was below the earth. So, yes, we can accept the supposition that heaven is a place above the clouds, but this article said you cannot. And it's such untruth out there. Heaven is above the clouds. We look up to the heavens. When Jesus returns, we'll be looking up to the clouds. And that's where Jesus went. He went up into the clouds to his Father, to heaven. That's where heaven is. And so this particular paper I found is full of untruth to me, according to my viewpoint. So, but anyway, getting back, I want to also share with you that I got a message in my heart from Jesus. It was spoken to me. A message is something that you don't think. It's a message from God. You can feel peace after you receive it. You have to discern all the messages you might hear or might get from God. And I felt peace after I received this message. And the message was from Jesus, trust me. So I'd like to share that with you, that we need to trust him in these end days. Remember, prophecies, we look through a veiled glass, because we're not perfect, and sometimes the things that people reveal are not true, and we have to use discernment. But also, not all prophecy comes true, and it all depends upon us. Again, the prophecy from Eileen George is a prophecy, but it's not set in stone. If we don't listen, these things could happen. World War III could be devastating, and she says at the same time San Francisco will be swallowed up. So there will be a definite drop in the markets then when that happens. It'll be like a roller coaster ride on the markets if San Francisco gets swallowed up with World War III going on. And it also says that when the great monarch rises, the technology is going to end and we're going to go back to farming. So a lot of things could happen if we don't pray, convert, and change. But we are living in the last days, and there is going to be a fulfillment of the book of Revelation. That we cannot change. So we have to just be prepared in our hearts. It's not a place. You can't go,